The country today, as I've mentioned, and in Gauteng, 30,000 children still need to be placed. And the Gauteng Premier, Makhura, together with the MEC for Education, Panyaza Lesufi, and the MEC for Infrastructure Development, Mamabolo, are officially opening the newly constructed Everest Primary School in Newclare, Johannesburg. And we now cross to our reporter, Maageketla Mohlabe, who has more. Very good morning to you, Maageketla. Thank you so much for joining us. It's over to you.
A very good morning to you, Simpiwe, as well as the viewers at home. Of course, welcome to Westbury, where a newly built school, that's Everest Primary School, will be handed over today on the first day of school in 2018. And of course, you can imagine the number of learners that have actually been coming through. I've seen them actually coming through the gates here, and of course, looking very much excited that they are now going to be studying in a newly built school. And let me just remind you that this is a school that has actually just recently celebrated 40 years of existence. But in that celebration, of course, they actually had to deal with the issue of a building that was built, or a school that was built with asbestos. But just to bring in the MEC of Education in Gauteng, Panyaza Lesufi, who is going to be part of the delegates who are going to be handing over this particular school here. MEC, thanks so much for your time indeed. Just tell us more about this school. What do we really know about this school and the history of this school?
Well, we're in the process of eliminating what you called asbestos schools. We've got almost 21 of them across Gauteng. So this is the major one that we demolished, and then we started it afresh with brick and mortar, and we're excited. It's a smart school. I mean, it's a 97 million investment in this community. It includes your smart boards, new laboratories, new classrooms, and new area for our ECD children. So we're quite excited as a province. But it's part of a broader campaign that we have in the province of opening a new school literally every month until 2019. So far, we've managed to build 41 schools. So we're quite excited as a province. And
talking about building that number of schools in Gauteng alone, this issue at hand here, over 28,000 learners are still unplaced. What is the plan now?
Well, the plan is to ensure that by end of business today, we should at least reduce that number to less than 15,000, so that by Friday, we should be dealing with around 5,000 or 4,000 learners. It normally happens, the ritual that we have every year, where parents resist placement, but when the academic year starts to gallop, then they come back and accept the places that we're giving them. So by end of January, mid-February, all the 28,000 learners will be placed, definitely.
And of course, talking about that issue, what about those who actually want to do late applications? Are there implications there?
There are huge implications, because we have to start with the 28,000 that are in the waiting list first before we can deal with the 4,500 that have applied late. I mean, they literally came here from Monday. So between Monday and yesterday, there were almost 4,500, and I can assure you it might increase with a couple of thousand later today. So the implications are not that severe, but very serious, because it means they have to wait for us to place others before we can come to them. But mid-Feb is the latest deadline that we need to cover, because we also have to ensure that the academic year is not disrupted by late applications or lots and lots of paperwork that we need to attend to.
And one of the issue, which is of course most recent, is that of Overval Primary School, or rather secondary school in Pretoria, and is the case that you lost in court. And I understand that that was not the end of the fight for you.
Definitely. I think it was a blessing in disguise, because now we have a resolution from court that says that the school is full. Not that we can't admit learners, it's just that the school is full. So what we're going to do now, we are taking stock of all these problematic schools. We are now going to have a proper company that is capable, that are experts in taking stock, and we'll know which school is indeed full, which school is not full. And if the school is not full, then we'll be in a position to fill the spaces that are available. So it's a short-lived victory for those that think that they've won. By January next year, I'm dead sure that I'll be in a position to take learners in that school so that they can be taught in the language that they've chosen. And I'm I'm happy I met with the parents, the 55 learners of the 55, parents of the 55 learners. I met with them. We've placed them now at another school, and thanks to that school, they've agreed to accept all of them. But I'll be going there later this afternoon, just to ensure that everything is fine.
And also, I want to actually dip into another issue, which you actually maintained throughout that court process, that this school uses the language to exclude learners. Do you still maintain that?
It's our strong view, and that is why we want to take the entire court case on appeal, because we really believe a different court can come with a different outcome. It's not the first time. I mean, we had a similar case on admissions with FETSAS. We lost it in Tshwane. We won it in Bloemfontein. They took it to Braamfontein Constitutional Court to appeal. We won it as well. So we are hopeful that a different court will indeed declare that our children can sing, play, learn at the same school. So there's nothing wrong for our children to dance together or sing together or learn together. If somebody say non-racialism is wrong, let it be the court that make that pronouncement. But I'm quite convinced that a different court will allow all our children to study at the same school, play at the same school, and dance at the same school.
I understand you have been receiving threats as well. Can you confirm that?
It's true, but it comes with the territory. I mean, you can't be a leader and really think that you'll only receive roses. People will threaten you to dampen your spirit, but I'm solid, I'm firm. I'm not scared, and I'm not going to give those people any form of attention. We are here to build quality education. This country needs our children to be skilled. We are competing with the best in the world, so we can't be threatened by those that believe that their wealth is the only wealth that matters. The entire world matters, and we need to deal with this thing. And remember, ours is not for revenge, it's for quality for all our children. So those that get privileges, they believe if we give quality to others, it means their privileges will go on, which is wrong. The problems of this country must be solved through education, and if we can have quality education, we're not going to have the many problems that we're having.
MEC, thanks so much for your time. All the best today. Okay, just to bring in the principal of the school, Mr. Brian Berry, just to hear his feelings to this particular newly built school. So, just quickly, we don't have time. What are your feelings on this school?
I'm very ecstatic, very excited, and where we come from and where we are now, it's a complete different world. This is a state-of-the-art school, and we can provide quality education for these children. They deserve it.
All right. Thanks so much. Because of time, we'll leave it there. Well, that was the principal, of course. Just recently we spoke to the MEC of Gauteng Education, Mr. Panyaza Lesufi, maintaining that, well, a lot of schools will be built in Gauteng, of course, to try and mitigate that backlog of over 28,000 learners who are still unplaced in Gauteng. Back to you in studio.
And Maageketla, I would imagine the excitement of the thousands of school learners, who are looking forward to a brand new year and a brand new school. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. Well, that was our reporter, Maageketla Mohlabe, speaking to us live from the newly built Everest Primary School in Johannesburg, which will be commissioned by the Gauteng Premier, David Makhura, together with Panyaza Lesufi himself, together and with his counterpart in the infrastructure development, Mamabolo. That will certainly be crossing to him a little later on in the show. For now, though,